Lena Armstrong. Welcome to another edition of In Focus, this time from Black Hat in Las Vegas. And with me is Philippe Courtot, who is Chairman and CEO of Qualys. How's it going?
Oh, very well, thank you, and thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here.
No, my pleasure.
What do you think of the conference so far?
Oh, it's very good. I think Black Hat is growing, and is growing well, I should add.
And I think, Philippe, when we last spoke, we were at the RSA conference in February in California.
Yes.
And at that time, you talked to me about your launch of the Trustworthy Internet movement, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to really tackling all of the security, privacy, reliability issues of the Internet. Since then, you've announced your first project for the group, which will tackle SSL governance and implementation across the Internet. I'm wondering, what are some of the particular problems that you're hoping to address with this first initiative, and what experts have you amassed to sort of help you out?
Well, so in fact, SSL is a very important protocol on the Internet, as we all know. So we have been, got a group of experts on the Internet from various companies, from Google, from other companies as well, that build a task force. And so we're in fact going to meet here at Black Hat and essentially draw a picture of what we think needs to be done. So there's plenty of ideas out there, initiatives already, but they're all in a way done in a very disparate way. So here, by bringing the minds together, which I think is really what Black Hat does also very well, this will allow us to really step back, reflect, and then start to drive some solutions to make the protocols more secure.
So, I mean, as you're talking, it's making me think that it's a massive effort, and certainly one that's well worth the effort, what you're doing. How will you be able to get more collaboration? You have these very large organizations, Google, eBay. As you develop your recommendations, perhaps even some standards, how can you entice some of these organizations that are using such antiquated implementations to buy into them?
So a very, very good question. So part of that, we have essentially launched what we call Pulse, which is essentially a free service which allows everybody to essentially check their SSL implementation. So what Pulse does, which is using the SSL Labs site that we have, it allows, in fact, to present the overall results and the improvement or the lack thereof that we are making. So that is just awareness, giving a tool that people can immediately audit themselves. It's done very quickly. It takes about a couple of minutes, and then we'll give you a grade, like in school, A, B, C, D, or F, and tell you exactly what you need to do to implement the protocol correctly. So that's one step, but that's the easy step. The more complicated steps is to essentially there's governance issues on SSL, which again has not evolved. There is also the browsers need to do a better job essentially as well. So you need the collaboration of various entities, and as we all know, the Internet is a place that we all benefit, but there is no real governance, which is on one hand a very good thing, and on the other hand a very bad thing, like everything else in life.
So very quickly, before we move on to one question about this whole notion of getting more in this community to buy into security as a fundamental building block, in regard to SSL Pulse, I would imagine that you've been able to kind of see other trends. What are you seeing as far as security weaknesses as you're collecting all of this data? Are there particular application layer issues, for example, that might be cropping up, or other interesting?
Well, the biggest security issue that we see and will take time to fix is the fact that now with essentially with the Internet and all these new cloud services, whether these services are public or private, the new perimeter becomes essentially the web application layer. And on one side, this is when you access the network. Then you have obviously the clients, which are becoming all mobile, Now the new perimeter becomes more the browser. And so these are the new weaknesses, and the challenge with web application scanning, or with web application, is that it's humans which are essentially writing the code. It's much easier to secure systems in a way than secure, human activities. So it's going to take time for us to develop, the proper mechanism, the tools, etc., to ensure that your applications, which are the front end now, how you access, the data into these data centers is secure, that the code is correct, and then developing the right firewalls, etc. And on the user side, obviously, there's a lot of phishing, a lot of techniques whereby you fool the user into giving information that they should not give. So that's the other frontier. And in between, that's where SSL becomes important. All between these devices and these data centers, you want secure protocols. And so because of that, we have the opportunity to build the security into that new infrastructure, but it's going to take time. And in the meantime, we still have to secure our old enterprise network infrastructure, which is extremely distributed, very fragmented, a lot of holes on the perimeter, which is a huge challenge for every corporation. So I think it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Sure.
And we see that by the absolutely, increasingly amount of data being stolen and data breaches that we hear about. So today the advantage is really for the attackers, and I think it's going to take some time, for us to really change that.
So mentioning mobile security, it's a huge problem from our readers' viewpoints. And there, I understand that Qualys announced an open source framework at Black Hat to sort of help users really figure out the risks or potential risks to their Android applications. How has this been received at the conference?
So we have not yet given the talk, so it's a little bit maybe premature, to see that. We're very, very keen on open source, because the open source, as opposed to proprietary software, in a way allows people to improve. Of course, the cost of using it is significantly lower. So you bring that technology to the masses, and I think it's very important to do that today. Again, one company cannot do it all today. We need to interoperate. We're moving away from that mainframe and then enterprise software world into a world which is significantly more driven by the user than it used to be before. We were bringing the technology to the users. Now today the users have access to the technology, and they are the ones driving big time. So we need to respond to that and take advantage of it as well.
Yeah, they're certainly using every device they possibly can to sort of enable business. And
yeah. So the old days where you could say, "Oh, here's my company phone, here's my laptop or my PC, the company one, and this is the only way you can use it," are gone. So that bring your own device is now real, and it's accelerating big time.
Well, thank you so much, Philippe. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Definitely appreciate your time.
Okay, my pleasure.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us for this edition of In Focus. We'll have more on the way, so please access those. And also, just a bit of news, we do have some extra videos, director's cuts, our outside lens, and of course, these videos that you can check out on our website at scmagazine.com. Thanks so much.